Having a Kickstarter in my own team, I'm very pleased to announce the next panel, Kickstart Future Talent Careers in Fintech, with Sean Morris, Head of Talent at the Fintech Power 50.
Hello, and welcome to Kickstart Future Talent Careers in Fintech. I'm Sean Morris, I'm Head of Talent for the Fintech Power 50, who is an approved Kickstart gateway for the government. I'm also co-founder of Fintech Talent Solutions, a talent consultancy providing recruitment, HR and talent solutions globally to fintech startups and scale-ups. Fintech Talent Solutions is also a partner of the Kickstart scheme, along with Barclays Rise, Level 39, Innovate Finance, iFinance Academy, Fintech Wales, the Connexus Group, Headcount and the Emerging Payments Association. So today I wanted to tell you a bit more about actually what the Kickstart scheme provides and helps young careers or young people into really exciting career opportunities, which we'll find out a little bit later from some of our clients. So today we have Rachel Cameron Potter, who is one of our Kickstarters from Ember. She's a Kickstart content marketer. We have Daniel Hogan, who's a co-founder from Ember. We have Callum Usher, Chief Operations Lead from StockUp. And we also have Nadia Ibrahim, Kickstart Marketing Assistant from Leading Point. So thank you guys and welcome. So the Kickstart scheme is a government initiative to help young 16 to 24 years old into work placement opportunities. These are people who are currently unemployed and really looking for some really exciting development opportunities to really kind of help boost their future career. And the Fintech Power 50 decided this is such a great scheme to really get involved in and really kind of get a whole group of companies together. And therefore we applied to be a Kickstart gateway provider, which literally enables a whole group of companies to access government grants. So what the Kickstart scheme provides is a 6-month work opportunity for young people which is a fully funded opportunity that the government provide to work 25-hour working week at national minimum wage, providing national insurance and auto pension contributions. And the great thing is that the participating companies also get a £1,500 grant, which helps with startup costs. So, and it's been really great, the kind of response and take up to date, because we have over 204 approved placements. We've 23, I think, more in the actual approval process. We have 120 participating companies who registered to take part in the scheme. So that really shows, the sort of general uptake and the willingness for companies to provide these opportunities to help young people. We have also had 63 Kickstart hires to date, and obviously those other ones are sort of all different stages of the process. So it's been quite a feast of a project to manage, but it's been really great with the take up, and obviously all of our Kickstarters are now employed into these opportunities. So. Also, to date, so with the 204 placements that have been approved, we've enabled companies to access over £1.5 million worth of government funding. So that's really great. So as I mentioned, yes, I have obviously my clients here today. So I'm going to hand over to Dan first of all. So Dan, if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about Ember and your role.
For sure, yeah, definitely. So yeah, my name's Dan Hogan and I'm the co-founder of Ember. I guess, yeah, at Ember what we do is try and automate the tax and accounting process for small businesses in the UK alone. So I guess we were born out of the frustration back in the day of the current market standard of the likes of, say, Xero and Free Agent and QuickBooks, and business owners struggling through their accounting and tax and really not understanding what happens day to day in their business. And myself and my co-founder Aaron sort of didn't want it to be that anymore, and we started Ember to try and really build a software that speaks to business owners and actually talks in their language. So there's no such thing as a debit or a credit or accounts receivable or accounts payable, and we really just try and talk in the business owner's terms. I myself am a chartered accountant, so I come from that sort of finance background and understand how important it is for our sort of Kickstarters who we have on board. We have 3 on board at the moment, to have that initial training. I went through the whole chartered accounting degree at Deloitte, and I mean, it was a slog, but it's enabled me to be where I am today. So that sort of fundamental training that these types of programs can offer is it's just sort of an unreal experience for these guys, and having Rach on board is awesome.
Excellent. And how did you get into fintech? Your own career path?
Yeah, so I mean, going down the traditional accounting firm life, I knew that I was never going to make it to partner. I couldn't think of anything worse than trying to slog out at Deloitte for the next sort of 10 years of my life, and actually moved over to the UK about 5 years ago, and brought over a software company in London, and we actually brought that business over from Australia. It didn't really sort of work out. It was a sort of finance software itself, and I then met Aaron at a WeWork, actually. So
okay.
we bumped into each other a few years back, and over a few beers over Christmas, we decided to go into it sort of full time. And I've always sort of worked in the sort of finance software space, and then I guess the term fintech now is a bit of a buzzword around, and something that I sort of love being a part of, because it is such a sort of huge tidal wave, and things are just changing so rapidly. And with the advent of open banking, we've been able to hook into all of our clients' sort of bank accounts and automate their taxes off the back of that. And I guess without open banking, we wouldn't be alive. So rather than having to sort of do those direct integrations, as a lot of the older school accounting software had to do back in the day. So it was over a fortuitous sort of beer that Aaron and I got in and
it's
started
funny how
Ember.
some business arrangements are dealt with that sometimes, aren't they? So, thank you, Dan. And Callum, yes, if you could just explain, obviously, your role, and obviously what you do at Stocked Up, and what does Stocked Up do, please?
So Stocked Up is effectively a brainchild of one of my close friends called Maya Twala. I met her when I used to live in South Africa. She went to essentially the sister high school of my high school. And last year I noticed she was making strides after attending Cardiff University, trying to get this company started. And I got involved I flew back from South Africa at the beginning of this year, and noticed one of her Instagram posts and said, "Do you have a job for me?" She said, "Yeah, do you want one?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were serious." And that's how I got involved with Stock Up. Beforehand, never kind of saw myself going into this area of work, but considering what we're trying to do, it's been very rewarding. We are trying to effectively reduce the economic divide. In South Africa, because the middle class and poorer communities are massively divided economically. So we are trying to create a system that will make investments more accessible for low-income earners, which is why we are starting a system of essentially £1 a month investments. So micro-investing through an SMS service. We're using an SMS service because poorer communities in South Africa don't really have access to internet, so we needed to kind of get around that hurdle. Obviously we can then access that and utilize that in later stages of development. But yeah, it's been a great journey to get there. Again, didn't see myself getting there because I'm a qualified teacher. I've done so many other things. I worked at Apple for 3 months, and this is something completely different for me, and I'm loving it. It's great. It's got a lot of purpose to it, which I really enjoy.
Thank you, Callum. And Nadia, if you'd like to introduce yourself and your role, and tell us a bit more about what Leading Point do, please.
I'm the marketing assistant over at Leading Point. I'm 3 months into my journey with them. Leading Point is a fintech based in London, actually at Barclays. We're just upstairs. And yeah, they specialise in, they've got software products to help companies do their operating models, and bridging the old with the new is like something that they're trying to do. So yeah.
And how long have you been in your placement?
3 months into my 6-month placement so far, and yeah, it's going really well. It's same with Callum, like I never really thought this was going to be a sector that I'd go in, like the financial services, because I did cultural studies and media at university, and like people that go down that route generally think of like the ITVs and the Channel 4s, like the more marketing kind of companies. So yeah, you never really envisage yourself going, but now that I'm in it, like I can never look back.
It's a whole new world.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it's cool. I'm loving it.
Thank you. And Rachel, last but not least, if you could introduce yourself and what you do in your role.
Yeah, so I'm Rachel and I'm a content marketer here at Ember. And I pretty much do everything content related, so if it's written or sometimes voiceover produced, then I've normally had my hand in it. So that's anything from script writing, social media, to a lot of SEO work, which we're working with an external agency for. And yeah, pretty much all things content related. Currently branching out into doing a lot more video work as well, which is really exciting for us. And that's all just in the span of 3 months. So every day is just proven to be a completely different day for me.
So big learning curve for you then.
Definitely. Before I started at Ember, I did a lot of work in content. So I had an arts degree. I did English. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, sort of jumped between internships, did a bit of freelance stuff, and figured I really liked doing the content side of things. And then that's how I came across Ember. And yeah, as soon as Dan told me what exactly Ember was doing, I was sold. And I think especially because I don't have an accounting background myself, when he said, we're trying to put accounting terminology into simple terms, I was like, oh cool, I can translate that.
Excellent. And you're one of, is it 3 Kickstarters then at Ember you're hosting?
We've got 3 on board. So yeah, we've also got a junior web developer, Ben. He's unbelievable. He's so he pretty much owns the entire website and is also building out another little thing that we call the SSGM, the super secret growth machine. And we also have Fred, who's a junior accountant. Yeah, so he did a finance and accounting degree at university and has come straight and yeah, is helping us on the sort of customer experience side and because we actually do provide the actual sort of accounting services as well. So we replace both your accounting software and the accountant for the future.
Oh wow! And Callum, so you have stock up. You have one Kickstart placement.
We've just got the one at the moment. His name's Wallace. He's come in to the team as a junior accounts executive. He's been really good. He's certainly helped stabilize a few things quite quickly. I've done quite a lot of work with him as the operations officer, so I chat to him quite a lot and get his opinion on things. I've actually learned quite a lot from him, which is surprising, but it's been great, and I think the initiative behind it is so mutually beneficial for the company, for the employee, but also, it affects the economy as a whole. It's a really beneficial scheme. And yeah, he's doing really well. He's learning a lot from our CEO, and he's shadowing her, so that's great.
Excellent. And Leading Point, they have more than one Kickstarter.
We've got quite a few. I think we've got maybe 3 or 4 on the roll now. So it's cool. We've got graphic design, me doing the marketing. We have admin and I think sales. So it's going really good. I think I was like one of the middle ones to start, so I wasn't one of the first. But yeah.
Excellent. And I mentioned earlier I have my own company, Fintech Talent Solutions, who's also taken on a Kickstarter. Mia, she's a recruitment and marketing assistant, and she's been with me for a month now, and she's a godsend. So she's already kind of influencing my social media followers, and she's redesigning my whole sort of presentation, and yeah, she's doing a great job and helping a bit with the Kickstart as well. So it's really interesting to hear all the kind of different type of roles that the Kickstart scheme, is providing, and all the different career opportunities within fintech. So And it's just great because obviously fintech typically is an industry made up generally of kind of experienced people, starting up startup businesses. So to inject young talent and to kind of grow that young talent is a really great opportunity. So talking about growing and development, so Dan, how are you kind of ensuring you're developing your Kickstarters? What sort of
so we
things do you have in place?
So we've got a pretty good structure when it comes to sort of one-to-one meetings. We see that as like a really sort of important part of integrating into a business. I guess we just really want to keep our finger on the pulse. We want to make sure that the employee is happy, but also to get that sort of 360-degree feedback as well on what we're doing correct or what we're not doing right. So they're a sort of really important part. We also have £1,000 training budget if you come on board as well. So you can, the Kickstarters can spend that how they like, and they work really closely with their sort of managers to make sure that they're, I don't want to steal your thunder because I know you're going to speak about this, but to make sure they're developing their skills in their certain areas. And to take Rach, for example, coming on board as the sort of content marketer, we really also want her to expand her skills into sort of digital marketing and understanding the paid side, because we have a head of growth who is a bit of a paid guru, and he is teaching Rach a lot, I think, and there's only so much I guess you can learn on the job as well though, so we do see that sort of training as a huge part of what we do as well, so that's how we've sort of structured that.
And how's the training been for you then, Rachel?
I've loved it. I've loved every second of it. So like Dan was saying, my line manager is an absolute guru when it comes to everything ads related. And I think he's getting quite sick of me just following him around going, what does this do? What does that do? But
what's a CAC?
Every single acronym. But when it comes down to also the £1,000 set aside, I'm currently doing a mini degree in psychology of persuasion. So I'm basically taking a deep dive into how to write really convincing copy, and seeing as I do all the copywriting for the website, the blogs, everything with Ember's stamp on it. It's really interesting to see how my copywriting techniques have changed over time, just because I've been doing that course. So I've definitely noticed some, not only am I really learning some interesting stuff, I'm also seeing that take impact on my work.
And
that's great to hear.
Being in accounting software as well, and accounting, we don't like to use the word firm because we're definitely not an accounting firm, but providing that sort of accounting and tax help to our Kickstarters as well. So we're providing Fred with that ACCA tuition as well, and making sure that he can then get the qualifications that he needs to become a qualified accountant as well.
Oh, brilliant! That's great to hear. And Callum, at Stocked Up, what training and development do you provide?
Fairly similar to Ember, although the £1,000 that's a great idea. I'm going to take that. So Wallace is obviously shadowing our CEO quite a lot, because I think it's her intention we want to keep him on. He's been doing really well and helping us in many different ways. And through his interactions with her on a day-to-day basis, he's learning a lot. I know he's learning about capital markets and things like that. And I think that is the area she specifically wants him to take over from, when obviously the 6 months elapses and we then make the decision to take him on further. And obviously he's supporting us and we're supporting him. And at the moment he's helping do our basic T's and C's, and I personally have no idea how he does that. So he's doing pretty well there, and again he's shadowing just so that he knows he's being guided, but he's actually figuring a lot of it out for himself, which is quite impressive. He's a very hard worker, so it's going well, and fortunately our CEO is kind of like a genius memory bank for these kinds of things, so she just kind of lets it all go on him, and he just has to just sit there and be like, okay, I'm going to remember some of that.
Right down.
But yeah, he's doing great, and I see how much he's coming along every day, so it's really great.
Oh, that's really great to hear. And Nadia, and what training have you been given so far in support and development?
Yeah, so I've mostly like versed in content creating, so like the more design side of it. But I really wanted to learn about the more market research and UX kind of learning. So I've been delving into that. One of the things I just did was the competitor research. So we just wanted to start up the Instagram. So what I'm not used to as well, I'm used to B2C marketing. So it's like business to customer rather versus what we're doing at Leading Point, which is B2B. So it's more about marketing towards like the business, which was a real learning curve for me. LinkedIn, I never knew LinkedIn was such like a vital thing to know about, but
It's a Bible.
yeah, it's a whole world, LinkedIn. But yeah, I'm learning about that along with the competitor research, which is really cool. Yeah.
Excellent. One of the important aspects of the Kickstart scheme is to provide employability support, so help with the future development and employability of our young Kickstarters. So, Dan, what provisions do you provide around employability?
We're almost trying not to provide them with that because we want to hire them. we don't want them to. No, we do. Yeah, so we actually, because we are helping SMEs ourselves, a lot of actually what Rach does is create templates for our business owners, and some of those templates are actually sort of your CV business or your CV template to help out employees, and it's a part of the sort of SEO push that we're doing. And as part of that, I think Rach is a bit of an expert in creating these types of templates. So we've definitely been sort of helping along on that aspect. But I think just giving the sort of opportunity to come into a business at this stage and have control over something. I mean, Rach is our go-to for every single thing content related, and I think that sort of experience that you get on the job is just sort of invaluable. And I think a lot of what is happening today, a lot of the focus is obviously on furlough and I guess employees not necessarily keeping their jobs. I think the Kickstart scheme actually then thinks about the younger generation and how they're actually going to get their foot in the door. And I think that is just such an important thing given the circumstances and given the sort of pushback in employability, I think, coming straight out of university. It's such a great scheme.
I think one thing as well, just off the back of that, is one thing that Ember does really well, is it helps you think a lot about next steps. So when I first landed in the content realm, in the marketing realm even, I had absolutely no idea about SEO, about PPC. Didn't really have much of a clue about the whole broad general term, but one thing that my line manager has done is he sat me down and pointed out different routes that I could take. And another thing that Ember does as well, just to finish that up, I guess, is helps you think about long-term leadership. So it gives you a lot of leadership opportunities. I've done a few presentations in front of the whole team as well, little old me. And yeah, it's, they've really sort of given me the chance to think about what I want to do next and how I can really start to tailor my career path. So yeah, that's
excellent. And Callum, what are Stocked Up doing with regards to employability? Are you helping with CV preparation, interview skills training?
Yeah, so much the same as Ember. We don't want Wallace to think about going somewhere else. So I think we're doing it in a way that we're making him get stuck into every aspect of the company. So kind of he started with us, we got to know him a little bit, and then we were like, right, here's your first meeting, let's go. And I remember when I had to do that, and that was quite scary, because I didn't really know anyone I was presenting to. And then realised I knew all of them, but that was good. And he's doing well. Obviously, our CEO is kind of guiding him with what he should look to do in the future, even if that doesn't mean he stays with us. We're not going to hold him back from anything else because we want him to do his best work for us and then to either stay with us or take it somewhere else. But there's no point in kind of hindering him from that so that we can keep him. That doesn't benefit us very much. So supporting him as much as we can. I've been chatting to him about his kind of future plans, what he'd like to do after this. And I've said, well, I know quite a few people who do CVs and things like that, more like template-based stuff. And obviously Maya will help him in building that up in a way that looks presentable. But I like that, as Dan was saying, I like that the fintech thing, I always found it so hard to get my first job after university. And I think that is a struggle that our generation is having now, is that we are so employable, but no one can employ you. And I think that this scheme is helping kind of bring that down a little bit. And it's so beneficial to young people, especially like Wallace. And it's something that should continue to happen because it only benefits them and the economy.
Excellent. Nadia, what do you hope to get out of the scheme?
Well, I haven't had the infamous chat yet with the company, but no, I'm loving it. I'm learning so much that I wouldn't have learned. I know there's a bit of a stigma coming with like the Kickstart scheme, but I think people from all walks of life, coming from Russell Group unis or like anything, have found a place within the scheme that's really helping them that they couldn't have, no matter like what background or walks of life they come from. So I think it's really amazing giving people like new doors to open and new sectors to go into when they wouldn't normally have gone into. So yeah, I hope to stay in the fintech community. But yeah, no, it's cool. We have weekly meetings as well where we discuss things like the future. So yeah.
If you don't get that chat in, just come and have a chat with
us.
And add me on LinkedIn.
and just on that note, so the Fintech Power 50, we're actually providing a support post Kickstart development program. So for some reasons, unfortunately, candidates may not be able to stay on because of funding, etc. But we will be proactively obviously seeking opportunities, Dan, for these really kind of engaged, motivated Kickstarters, because we really want to keep them within fintech and kind of, keep growing, future sort of talent programs. So the Fintech Power 50 will be also providing some free skills training courses and a whole kind of e-learning module, or modules rather, about fintech, and they can gain a certification at the end. They'll also learn some core business skills such as Microsoft Teams, Google Meetings. I mean, how many of those do we have? Zooms, etc. It will be a kind of a full support package that the Fintech Power 50 provides. So I'm just noticing time. So just as a last question then, if there's any companies that are interested in participating in the Kickstart scheme, Dan, what advice would you give them?
It's a no-brainer, I guess. We've found our three guys super valuable. I mean, Rach is an integral part of the team already after the first 3 months, and I couldn't recommend it high enough to anyone else thinking about it. I think it's just such a great opportunity for both you as the business and the person that you are sort of bringing on board.
And Callum?
Yeah, the same. I think it would be silly not to. It's something that you should take advantage of because there is no downside to it. As a business, you get an extra set of hands. Many hands make light work kind of thing. Someone gets employability, which is great for their ongoing future, and the benefits just are across the board. So it's kind of, again, it's a no-brainer. It's something you should really look at doing.
And from obviously a Kickstart perspective, then Rachel and Nadia, what advice would you give a young person wanting to join fintech or a Kickstart scheme?
I think I'd say always stay curious. So definitely consider going into sectors that you haven't looked at beforehand, and just always ask questions as well. I mean, Dan knows I always ask all the time. If you can, just learn as much as you can because it will always be worth it.
Be like a sponge, just absorb.
Yeah.
And Nadia, sorry.
Yeah, no, I would say the same thing. I think don't let your company descriptor cloud you. I think a lot of company descriptions can be a bit misleading or not leading enough. So just keep an open mind. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So I mean, obviously you've had some really great stories and experiences here from our our panel of clients and obviously Kickstarters. So thank you for joining today and sharing your experiences and insights. So if anyone is interested in taking part in the Kickstart scheme, please go to the Power 50 website. There is a Kickstart page there, so you'll find all the details and you can set up a call, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.